Coming up in this episode, a competition with a couple of great prizes for you, an interview with the author of Denmark's Friendliness Manifesto, and a question about car leasing. I'm Tim.
And I'm Nima. Welcome to mydenmarktv.com. This episode of mydenmarktv.com is made possible by CopenhagenClicks.com, featuring the largest collection of Danish websites covering all the practical aspects of your stay in Denmark, and all explained via videos, enabling you to get around the Danish language barrier and get so much more out of your time here.
Nima, do you think that people in Denmark are any less friendly than Britain, for example? Like on the streets?
No, I don't think so, not at all. In London it can get really busy, so I guess it's difficult to get a word in, whereas it's more laid back in Copenhagen. And so people are very easy to approach.
Yeah, I agree. I have to say, I think Canada people are probably a little more friendly on the streets, very boisterous even sometimes. But I ask you because, later in the episode we've got a great interview with a guy called Lars AP, and he has written a book called Fucking Flink, and that means fucking friendly, basically. It's a great interview, plus we've got a couple of free copies of his book to give away.
But first, Sabine has a competition to announce. Let's have a look.
So, today is exactly 1 month before Christmas. Surprised? I mean, Christmas is hitting us like the speed of light, at least that's how it feels to me. Whenever New Year is over, I turn around and Christmas is simply the next thing. But I love Christmas, so I really don't mind. But enough said about me, now it's time for you to take part. This What's Up is dedicated solely to you. There are no fancy events, there are no upcoming happenings except you. And that is because we're looking for families who want to show us and all our viewers how you celebrate or you prepare Christmas here in Denmark, being a multicultural family. How does your traditions differ from a Danish Christmas? It can be a Christmas song, a Christmas drink, food, decoration, a special get-together that you do with your family, a special way of celebrating. I know, for instance, in Greece, they have fasting before Christmas. Any of these sorts is what we're looking for. All you have to do is write us an email and tell us a bit about these traditions, and then you might be the one out of 2 families that My Denmark TV will feature on our show during December. Now just remember, it doesn't have to be a tradition that's on Christmas Eve. It can just be a tradition that is related to Christmas with your family. So send us an email at mailback@mydenmarktv.com by December 1st with the subject Christmas competition, and remember to include your phone number and where in Denmark you live. Now the 2 winners, they will be contacted by December 3rd, and then be ready for a visit by My Denmark TV shortly after, straight at your house. The 2 winners, they receive free tickets kindly sponsored by Tivoli for Jul i Tivoli with your family. Now the famous amusement park here in downtown Copenhagen opens its doors to a special world of Christmas lights and elves and Santa Claus and reindeer and snow like you've never seen it before. I personally can't wait to go there. It's really, really cozy. And not to mention the fact that you get a chance to be in our show. So take part in sharing how Christmas can be celebrated or prepared in so many different cultural ways to people all around the world. But for now, Tim and Nima, back to you.
Alrighty people, looking forward to hearing from you.
Yes, and remember, the deadline is next Wednesday. And now over to Vladimir.
Hi, I'm Vladimir Chen. I don't know about you, but everyone on our team is excited about upcoming Christmas. You feel it in the air. Shops, parks, and streets are being decorated everywhere. Christmas trees are popping up every day, and I just love it. And this is the time a lot of people think about buying presents for their family and friends. If you're in Denmark, you probably know that print advertisements, those with glossy magazines, is very popular. The resource that I want to share with you this time is called minreklame.dk, which directly translates to my ad. Now let me explain how this works. In Denmark we get a lot of print advertisements in your mailbox, unless you put that little sticker that you're not interested in them. If you're looking for a nice bargain, very often those ads is a great way to get something at a very nice, cheap price. minreklame.dk provides you on-demand access to the variety of digital ad catalogs, papers and magazines, all in one place. You can browse through different prints by brand name or categories such as electronics, clothes, home appliances, furniture, and so on. It's a very fast way to find some inspirations too. When you are viewing a magazine, make sure to check the dates those offers are valid till. Otherwise, you don't want to end up in a store claiming something that is not on sale anymore. So happy shopping! And of course, if you like this resource, join us at CopenhagenClicks.com, a place where you can find many more of similar clicks and video tutorials. That's it for this week. Enjoy!
Thanks, Vladimir. Now, Tim, tell me about this friendliness manifesto.
Well, earlier today, I met a guy called Lars AP, and he's a great guy to chat with. And he's written a passionate little book designed to provoke Danes into thinking about the way they behave towards each other in their daily life. So let's roll it. So I'm sitting here with Lars AP, who has written this book called Fucking Flink. So Lars, thanks very much for joining us today. First of all, tell us about Fucking Flink. How did it come about? What motivated you to do this?
Right. Well, I'm the son of an American father and a Danish mother, and so I've been brought up in a household where we spoke English and Danish. And I noted one thing through my upbringing, and that is that when I speak English, I'm a little more outgoing, a little more open, a little more curious as to what other people are about. Mm-hmm. And in Danish, when I speak Danish, I'm a little more withdrawn. Mm-hmm. The kicker is that I'm way happier when I speak English. I shouldn't say way happier, but I've always felt marginally happy when I speak English. And then a couple of years ago, there was a global map of world happiness, and of course Danes came out as the happiest people, and that baffled me because why is it that I'm happier when I speak English? I mean, I could speak Danish, which all the other happy people are doing in Denmark, but I was happier when I spoke English. Why is that? And the one thing that I've always missed, or that I've always felt that there was more of in other cultures than in Denmark, is the friendly banter on the street. We don't do that very well in Denmark, and that's, I think, one of the reasons that I feel a little happier in English, because you can strike up a conversation with someone you don't know. That makes me just a little happier every day when that happens.
Probably a lot of people, when they hear this idea, they think, yeah, I want to do that. So if they're then walking out from their house after seeing this interview, give me a couple good suggestions that you would say, okay, do this.
Right. Well, there's a ton.
Of course.
And you guys, I think what you could say about Danes is we're backyard people. So we live a lot. When we have the famed expression in Denmark is hygge, which is coziness. Well, we live our hygge in private. So we do it in the backyard. We do it on the back porch. We rarely have the front porch, and we don't use it. You have that in a lot of other cultures where you have people sitting out in front of their house, and having hygge out in the semi-public sphere. I think that's that's one thing you can start doing. Like, you just take a bench out in front of your house and sit out there, so that you drink your coffee out there every once in a while. People will notice that, and they'll see this invitation to bring the hygge out into the public sphere. And of course, the street dining that you guys have also had a segment on is of course an extreme example of that. It's a great way of being quirky in the way that you're bringing the hygge from home out into the public sphere. Another, just a tiny example, is when you go to the post office and you take your number in to queue up. What I've started doing is I take two numbers, and then when there's an elderly person who comes in and obviously is overwhelmed by how long they have to stand and wait in queue, then of course I have my two numbers, so I just walk over and I give them my the one number, and it's just a great way of helping this elderly person who has a problem standing up. It's sort of the equivalent of giving your seat in the bus, but just in a new way. And I think that's what we need, is we need new ways of being polite, or new ways of being friendly, because that way we can creatively get to each other. Yeah. So we need to work our ways away from maybe routine ways of being friendly, although they're fine also. Yeah. But in order to get a new generation to think this is fun and want to take part in it also.
I guess you have a lot of these kind of ideas.
Yeah, and that's what I'll be rolling that out. And of course I'm also getting a lot of attention, or a lot of ideas from people on Facebook. There's been an overwhelming support for the project. project.
Just 7,000 plus Facebook fans last time I saw it.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that can easily be quashed by cynicism and seriosity. So we just need a lot of people in there in order to get this blossoming. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for taking the time to meet us today. It's been fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you.
Well, I love meeting inspiring people, and Lars AP is definitely one of those people. You can buy his book through saxo.dk. We've put the link below the episode. It's like 125 kroner, so it's pretty cheap, but it is only in Danish. And of course, become a fan of his on Facebook if you thought that what he's doing is pretty cool. Fucking Flink. It's pretty easy to find, and we've also put the link below the episode.
What about the books to be given away?
Oh yes, Lars gave us a couple of free copies of his book that we could give away to viewers, and we've got a competition to do just that. So we would like you to write below the episode or on Facebook how you can be more friendly in daily life, or how you would encourage people to. And you can even include photos.
And now on to the mailbag. This week we have a question from Kelly Telcott, who writes, I've read about how expensive it is to buy a car in Denmark, what with the very high auto tax, but I recently read that it can be much cheaper to lease. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between buying and leasing? I enjoy your weekly videos. Keep up the great work.
Well, I guess I can take that question. I mean, the problem in Denmark is, of course, whether you're leasing or buying a car, somebody still has to pay the extremely high tax. That's just how it is. But below the episode, we've put a link to an article from forbruger.dk, which is the Danish Consumer Association. And there it talks a little bit about the difference between buying and leasing and the factors to consider. And it includes a calculator where you can actually plug in the numbers and calculate based on the model that you want to buy. It's in Danish, so you'll have to use Google Translate, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Kelly, I hope you find that useful. In return for the question, you get a 30-minute consultation with My Denmark TV team.
And you can also benefit from a consultation with the My Denmark TV team. Just click on the link below that says Consult with My Denmark TV.
That's it for this week. If you've got any question, just pop it in the mailbag.
And of course, you can always find us on Facebook, facebook.com/MyDenmarkTV, or on Twitter.
Okay, well, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Is your nose running?
Is it? It probably is.
Shining.
Is that a huge booger sticking out of your nose?
That's going.
No, don't do that. I said my nose is running.